These are 5 beauty mistakes that I made that I regret doing. I wish I could turn back time and pretend like these things never happened, but we cannot do that. We learn from our mistakes and we move forward and we don't repeat them. So sometimes we make a decision and sometimes it's the best decision we've ever made, and then there are times where we think to ourselves, what the heck was I thinking? Why did I do that? That's exactly how I feel about these 5 beauty mistakes. So let's get right into the first regret. Regret number 1 is going from blonde to solid brunette. Now, I have talked about this before in a past video a few years ago, and honestly, I still think about the day that I did this and I cringe. I really regret going all brunette from being basically solid blonde. Now, I have basically been blonde my entire life. I love being blonde, but there's a lot of maintenance, right? So that was why I wanted to change, and I wanted to go brunette and just see how everything played out from there. So I gradually went darker, but then there was a time where I'm like, you know what, if I'm going to do it, let's just do it. Let's just go for it. So that is what I did. And a lot of people did not think that I was going to do it. My boyfriend included. My mom's like, you're not going to do it. You're going to chicken out. Well, no, I did it. And I came home and I was in shock. So if you've ever been solid blonde and you went brunette, or let's say the opposite, it's quite shocking because you have seen yourself a certain way for so long. And the way that your skin tone changes, the way that you look at yourself is way different. I had to dress differently in terms of the color choices and also the makeup. My makeup had to change as well. I couldn't have the same makeup and the colors because it just wasn't justifying the brown hair that I had going on. So my makeup had to change. My wardrobe basically had to change. So when you go from blonde to brunette, it also washes you out. Like sometimes, people will say being really solid blonde can wash you out, and it can, it definitely can. But I felt so pale that I had to self-tan constantly just to give myself color so that everything just looked a lot better, if that makes sense. I mean, that's how I felt anyways. So 3 days later, I absolutely still hated the way that my hair looked. It was really dark. Of course, I'm going to insert a picture. And I decided to go and get blonde put back in my hair. Now, at the time, I really wish that I would have done my research and figured out the process of slowly going back blonde. Instead, I just wanted to be blonde again. Now, my hairdresser at the time did not really tell me that I would most likely experience breakage, that my hair would probably be damaged and straw-like and dry. If she would have told me that, I probably maybe still would have done what I did, but maybe not as much blonde. Maybe I would have gradually did it. And my hair did break. My hair broke off. My hair was severely damaged. I had a lot of broken pieces. My hair turned into bubble gum. If you've ever experienced breakage, your hair all of a sudden feels very slimy and you can literally pull it apart and it's like a rubber band. It's like bubble gum and it just starts snapping. And it was devastating. And to be honest with you, I am still traumatized by that. And anytime I go and get my hair done, like I used to be so excited for my hair appointment. Now I just cringe. I worry. I just hope that my hair doesn't go through that again in terms of breakage. So, I mean, yeah, it's basically I have PTSD from that. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but it was very traumatizing and my hair it was a nightmare. I wore hats for several weeks after I had that done. So anyways, it's been a process. It's been many years since I've had that done. I will never ever do that again. If I ever want to be darker, I would just grow my natural hair out, maybe add some lowlights, but I will never ever dye my hair solid brown again. Regret number 2 was using tanning beds. And honestly, this is seriously one of my biggest regrets ever. I was addicted. I would go a few times per week. I would always buy those tanning lotions. If I saw something new on the shelf, I bought it because I just thought that it was going to make me more tan. And then of course, I would ask for the bed with the newest bulbs. It was a serious problem. And I was doing this a lot. Now, I don't go to the tanning beds anymore. I haven't been to one in probably over 15 years. So it's been a very long time. But my mom and my aunts did say to me, Ashley, don't do it. You're going to regret it in the future. Like, it's not good. Just don't. But I did not listen because I just cared about being tan. I didn't want to be pale. Now, back then, self-tanners were not a thing like they are now, right? Self-tanners have come a long way. They look realistic. They look natural now. But back then, they were slowly starting to come out. But let's be real. Like, the color was not natural. It was very orange. Very, very fake looking. So that was another reason why I didn't want to do that. I just continued with the tanning salon. And then of course I would go home and tan outside. So it's a true regret that I wish I can turn back time, but of course we live and learn and we just don't repeat it. So of course now when I'm outside, I wear sunscreen all the time. If I can be in the shade, I look for the shaded areas, and I'm just more cautious now. And of course with a skincare channel, I'm obsessed now, and my future self is cringing. I wish that I could go back, like I said, and turn the clocks, but I can't. Regret number 3 was getting acrylic nails, also pedicures. I'm putting both of them in this category because I did not have a good experience with either one, and I really regret it, and I would never do it again. So with pedicures, I know a lot of you love it, and I know it's a thing, I know, but when you have extremely ticklish feet, I was never able to relax and enjoy the treatment. Like, I could not. I'm literally on the edge of this seat in hysterics. I'm just so uncomfortable. It was never enjoyable. So honestly, I don't even know why I kept going, because I never liked it. But then the very last time that I decided to get a pedicure done, I didn't have a good experience. The person that was doing it over exfoliated my heel, and I'm sure you can imagine what happened, right? An open wound, I was bleeding, I had a scab for several weeks. It did not get infected, but honestly, they over exfoliated, and she was embarrassed, and I never went back. And I looked at my mom and I said, okay, we're leaving. Like, what just happened? So no, I did not pay for the service, if you were wondering. Absolutely not. And that was a very, very bad experience. So I don't get pedicures done anymore because of that. But also I'm very ticklish, so like, what's the point? And then acrylic nails. I don't know about you, but I don't like the feeling of fake nails on my hands. I don't like the feeling of long nails, to be honest with you. I just hate it. But also, when I would get acrylic nails in the past, my nails would be ruined. My nails would be atrocious. They don't look healthy, and it was very embarrassing to walk around with nails like that. So I much prefer to either have no color, and I know that's very boring, or just do my own at home. And that's what I do. So I do my own pedicures at home. I have my own little kit where I exfoliate my heels once a month, or sometimes more than that. And I just give myself a pedicure and a manicure. I do everything myself, and I'm much happier. I'm saving a lot of money, but also I'm doing it in the comfort of my own home. And I know that when I'm done, I'm not going to have any open lesions on my skin either. Regret number 4 was getting Zoom whitening done. Have you guys ever had that done? If so, please let me know in the comments below how it worked out for you, because my experience was not good at all. Now, Zoom whitening is something that you get done in office. And when I had this done, I had it when Zoom whitening had first come out. So we're going back maybe 20 years ago now. It's been a really long time. And I think back then I paid $500 for this whitening treatment. So they do it in the office. They basically put like a mouth expander in your mouth, and you can't close your mouth either. It basically is open for like an hour. That's how long my appointment was. And they put a suction in, of course, where they can suction out all of your saliva, because during the process you are salivating like crazy. And they put all of this gauze in there to soak up the saliva as well. Honestly, I know it sounds gross, and it was. Like, I really did not enjoy that. And so when you're getting it done, they're painting on the whitening, they put the light for X amount of minutes, and then they repeat the process at least 4 times, something like that. And so when you leave the office, you're supposed to have these pearly whites, right? And I was expecting my teeth to be snow white, the whitest of the white. And I can honestly say that my teeth were probably 1 shade brighter than what I went in with. I was so upset and devastated, thinking like I just spent an hour with my mouth propped open, salivating like an animal. Also, I just paid $500 for what? Now, the aftermath was the worst part. The sensitivity that I experienced for over a week was out of this world. I had never experienced anything like it. Now, my teeth are not exactly sensitive. Like, I can eat cold and hot and not have an issue. But when I had this done, the sensitivity was insane. My mouth was throbbing, my gums were throbbing, I could feel my heartbeat in my teeth. I know that sounds crazy, but I could. And I was salivating like crazy a couple of days after I had the treatment done. I was in so much pain. They did send me home with this fluoride that you had to put on your teeth, and it did help, but I mean, like, this was crazy. Like, I thought, you know, at-home whitening kits were bad. This topped it. So if you have sensitive teeth to begin with, don't even think about getting that done unless things have changed since then. Have that talk with your dentist, but from my experience, I wouldn't want anybody to go through that. It was a nightmare. And I much prefer to use Crest whitening strips because number 1, I don't get sensitive teeth, and number 2, my teeth get a lot whiter with Crest white strips than Zoom whitening. I know. And the 5th regret was getting laser hair removal done. This was a treatment that I honestly did not enjoy. It was very, very expensive, and I really didn't see the best results either. So I had purchased a package of 5 treatments, and I only went for 4 treatments. So in fairness, if I kept on going and maybe I kept purchasing more packages, maybe the results would have been there. But it was a very painful experience to go through every time. The prep was also pretty extensive. You needed to sit there for about 45 minutes to an hour with numbing cream on the area that you were getting lasered. So that was very time consuming, and even the numbing cream honestly didn't work that well. Like, it may have slightly helped, but it wasn't enough to go through the treatment without feeling like, ow, that hurt, ow, that hurt. Like, you know what I mean? It was a very painful experience, and maybe I have a low pain tolerance. I don't know. I just really didn't like it. So I do at-home laser hair removal now. I do have a device, and I can be as consistent as I want. It's a lot more affordable, and I don't feel like it's painful at all. So I much prefer to do that. And yeah, it might take longer to see results, but again, I'd rather do that than go in the office. The other reason why I don't do laser hair removal in the office anymore is because on that 4th treatment, about a couple of days or a week after I had that 4th treatment, I broke out in a body rash that basically started from my chest down to my thighs. And this was a very extensive rash. Like, it was red, and I had scaly patches all over, and every area of my skin was covered in a rash. And it was not good. So I couldn't help but think that this rash came from laser hair removal. It came from the office. I couldn't help but think that because I'd never experienced such a thing, and I still haven't experienced this from that day. It was a one-time thing. So I made an appointment with my dermatologist because I was really concerned and it wasn't going away. And he took one look at me and he says, I think this is pityriasis rosea. Google it. You will see exactly what I'm talking about. You'll see exactly what it would have looked like on my skin. And so, of course, he had to be sure. So he did take a biopsy, and they took a biopsy from my arm, and now I'm left with a raised scar to this day. And the results did come back, and it said that I had pityriasis rosea. So did it come from laser hair removal? I don't know, maybe not, but it just seemed really weird that I had never had this before. I never got it again, and it happened right after laser hair removal. So I don't know, but this can be caused by viral or bacterial infections, and this can also develop with people that are young up into the age of 35. So I was under 35 at the time, and Yeah, that's what I dealt with. So I had this rash on my skin for 1 month. It took a very long time, and this type of rash can take months to disappear for some people. And mine went away in about 4 to 5 weeks, and my skin was back to normal. And I have not experienced anything since. The laser hair removal device that I have here at home, I've never had a rash from that. So who knows? Who knows what happened? I don't know. But it was enough for me to be completely turned off, and I will never do in-office laser ever again. So those are the 5 beauty mistakes that I have made that I have deeply regretted, and I hope that you can learn from some of my mistakes as well. But if you've made the same regrets, I would love to hear your stories in the comments section, because I know that I'm not the only one that thinks that Zoom whitening is extremely sensitizing on the teeth, and I also know that I'm not the only one that thinks that laser hair removal is really painful. I know that I'm not the only one, so I'd love to hear your stories. Now, if I have any other beauty regrets and mistakes from this day going forward, I will be sure to share another video just like this one. But until then, thank you so much for watching. I always do appreciate it. And of course, I will see you all in the next video. So take care, and I will see you all then. Bye, guys.